Hi, I'm DK Will, and this is DK. We'll talk about it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
Before we get into the video, I'd like to turn your attention to a referral link that you'll find in the description below somewhere, or on the page description on my homepage, where you get a $50 off on the Decent Biometric Wallet. And if you have a whole lot of coins, you might be interested in the package discount for the Decent Biometric Wallet 2-pack, where you save $129 off on the regular price. That's one heck of a deal. I hope you take advantage of it, because it's time to preserve and protect your funds. Be your own bank, folks. Let's get into it. In my last video, I ran out of time. I wanted to cover this information here, so I'm going to try to cover it quickly, because I said that I would. Primarily is why I'm going to cover it. But it's from the July 1st News, Rumors, and Opinions from DINAR Recaps. And it talks about the Brics major U.S. financial sector to be impacted if the dollar is ditched. This article states that the main U.S. sector to be affected if Brics ditches the dollar is the banking and finance sector. Banks across America will be forced to take concrete measures to safeguard the prospects for the U.S. dollar. Moreover, new currency pairs could take center stage in the forex market, adding more pressure on the U.S. dollar. Okay, so the reason I want to cover that is because it is also tied to the Iraqi dinar, but it's much more so also tied to the new monetary system. And so when it talks about these new currency pairs, you have to imagine as these BRICS nations begin to ditch the dollar, and create trading pairs of their own, trading pairs such as Brazil's money against Russia's money, China's money against India's money, South Africa's money against Saudi Arabia's money, who joined BRICS, as well as, yes, and as my previous video showed, Vietnam pair against these other countries, a Iraqi dinar pair against these other countries. And so it definitely threatens the hegemony of the U.S. dollar. And it goes on to say, also, banks lend millions of dollars globally, and the amount dispersed would be reduced considerably. Well, if you make your living off loans, and then nobody's taking any loans anymore, how do you make your living? The interesting thing about the U.S. dollar is from its creation, the Federal Reserve note is a loan. It's a loan document. The U.S. is borrowing money from private banks, which just no country should ever have done that. Every country should have sovereignty over the creation and distribution of their own currency. But that's how successful the central banks have done. It says, therefore, the U.S. dollar will experience a dent in the supply and demand mechanism. We've talked about that a lot. And banks will take the first hit due to the BRICS de-dollarization initiatives. U.S. banks are already in crisis, with several banks facing closures and bankruptcies since 2020. If the banking sector takes the first hit, the next dent will inadvertently be the financial sector in the U.S. Unquestionably. The financial sector would include the banks. It's broad and involves consumer goods and retail, technology, and fintech, among various others. Even inflation could hit the U.S. homeland, making the prices of everyday essentials peak, as if that hasn't already happened. BRICS ditching the dollar for global trade and transactions will begin to have adverse effects on the U.S. economy, and day-to-day life in America will be impacted. We're already there, folks. BRICS ditching the dollar for global trade and transactions. And you can see here, and I forgot how many countries I counted here. It was 30-something, 39 maybe. I counted these countries, 33. It could have been. I don't remember how many it is. But you're looking at all of these who are ditching the U.S. dollar for global trade and transaction, or applying to do so. Now, this was an editorial on this article regarding this, but the article itself, found here at DINAR Chronicles by Terra, Zetzz, Saturday, 29 June it was done. BRICS ditching the dollar will affect a major U.S. sector. And that takes us into what this means for us. And of course, I understand when I say what this means for us, I'm talking about from my paradigm. I'm talking about from my perspective. I'm talking about from my DK Will's perspective of what this means and how can we make this information useful for us. But as we go into this article, we can see here that the BRICS alliance is looking to launch a gold-backed currency to topple the US dollar. Now, if you follow the Q movement and all that, you know that the statement was made that gold will destroy the Fed. So when we're talking about the banking sector over here in this, the Fed and the banking sector go together. That's just how it is. And then it goes on to say the announcement about the formation of a new currency will be unveiled at the upcoming summit in October 2024. I did a video on that. I'll show all my videos in the BRICS in here in a moment. The goal of BRICS is to create a multipolar financial world where developing countries will, I guess, have limited connection to the US dollar. Global trade will mainly be settled in the new BRICS gold-backed currency or local currencies of other developing countries. This would help them safeguard their native economies as hoarding the US dollar in reserves comes at a risk. And yes, if the dollar is dying, it does come at a risk. The growing debt in the US touched 34.4 trillion this month, and developing nations want to distance themselves from the dollar. In my just recent video, we saw it was 34.8 something, so it's going up pretty fast, probably 35 trillion by now. But I've been covering the BRICS as an integral part of the new monetary system because, in my belief, in my paradigm, these are the little guys getting ready for the big guy. I don't think that the U.S. is going to do a fallout. I really don't. I think it's going to do a failure. But it's for the purpose of destroying the debt-based monetary system and replacing it with gold-backed, economy-backed, asset-backed, sound money.
Because it's all part of the plan.
And like I've said many times, you can't bring the big guy on first, because if the US dollar went gold backed first, as large as the US economy would be, it would be totally unfair for the US to trade with other countries when their dollar has a promise of gold behind it, and the other countries' dollars do not have a promise of gold or some other asset or commodity behind it. It would be totally unfair. It would be monopoly money against real money. It would be maple leaves against gold leaves. And you can't trade maple leaves for gold leaves. And then it goes on to speak of some of the portions that we already read from this article about the bankruptcies for banks. And so here's what I'd like to draw to your attention. Hopefully, it will help. There's a proverb in the Bible that says, have you seen a man skillful at his work? Before kings he will station himself. He will not station himself before the common man. Well, in essence, then you are my kings. My audience is my kings. Because I'm putting my work in front of you here, specifically in regards to the BRICS. And this is my back room, of course, but I recommend that if you go to my channel, you can put BRICS in the search bar, and hopefully it'll bring up all my videos for BRICS. I think you can do that. But you can see here back in June 20th of 2022, we're looking 2 years ago. I did a video, and the video was entitled Throwing BRICS and Blockchain at the Iraqi Dinar, to show the way the BRICS are doing. And the reason I'm showing you this is because if you go back and you watch these videos, you will see the tie-in that I'm going to try to make in this video as well. Because then the next one was, let's throw some gold BRICS at it. Can you see how it's coming together? Because if you'll recall in this article we just read, it says the BRICS alliance is looking to launch a gold-backed currency. And in the prior videos I did, in fact, the most recent video I did, it talks about that BRICS plus unit is also bigger than the Iraqi dinar, and it shows that currency is going to have 40% backing in gold, and the rest based on the currencies of the participating nations. But keep in mind, the participating nations are going to have asset-backed, gold-backed money. And so this is a part of a symposium, and this one here talks about how Brics are bigger than DINARs. And then we talked about time for gold Brics rush and showing how what's already happening that we see here, gold back money. Now, the reason I'm talking about this new gold back currency of other developing nations is because it talks about them having international trade with the dollar out of the way, if you recall in this article. It says here, Brics ditches the dollar right here. And earlier we read a multipolar financial world where developing countries will be limited in connection to the US dollar. They're going to trade their own currencies. And I did a video, Can You See What Kenya Sees, who also moved in that direction. But what matters here is how are they going to be able to do that? And I'm going to touch on how they're going to be able to do that in my next video. Try to tie them in and bring you back. Hope you like, hope you subscribe. Because it says here that global trade will mainly be settled in the new Brics gold-backed currency or local currencies of other developing countries. What that says is it's not going to be SWIFT, is it? If it's Russia a part of it and sanctioned nations are a part of it. It's going to be a new system. But the key we're going to deal with this video here is it's the new Brics gold-backed currency. Now, like I said, the U.S. is eventually going to join with their gold leaves. So what do you think that's going to do to the price of gold? If you'll recall from my prior video, continuing further on that topic, global financial crisis, the new USA Treasury dollar backed by real world assets is coming, folks. Put it together. 1 + 1 still equals 2. The Financial Accounting Manual for Federal Reserve Banks states that the Treasury Secretary can instruct the Fed to revalue the gold on the U.S. government's balance sheet. It will likely be revalued to over $20,000 per ounce. Boom, it's coming. And if you've been listening to DK, we'll talk about it. My goodness. Folks, here it is. For 4 years I've been talking about this, and I ain't done with this video yet. Please pay attention. Have you bought some gold? And so while the Brics nations are ditching the dollar and using gold-backed, asset-backed money, we can anticipate gold to increase in demand while the dollar decreases in demand until it becomes gold-backed too. So in the meanwhile, aside from the crypto angle, there's the gold angle. And if you can buy gold today at $23.58.50, and before this year is over, it's $23,585. Won't you be happy that you did it? So like I asked in the prior video, have you bought some gold? Because the fact that the Brics nations are ditching the dollar and going to gold-backed money, and the fact that the U.S. can go in and give a price for gold in order to balance its balance sheet, I did the math. And to cover $35 trillion worth of debt with 8,000 plus ounces of gold, you're talking in the millions for a price. So it's 20-some thousand dollars unheard of? Absolutely not. And so that's why I want you to pay attention to the next clip that I show you as I close out this video. Because it is a way for the regular person to go and get some gold. I'm not advertising the U.S. Money Reserve, America's Gold Authority. If you want to use them, use them. I've never used them in my life. I like their picture and I like their question because it fits my video. So I don't know if they're good or bad. But what I do know is there's options out there for you to adjust your paradigm and take advantage of Brics ditching the dollar. Take advantage of Brics going to gold-backed currency. Take advantage of foresight instead of hindsight or even current sight. Because if you see it happening as it happens, you're too late. And it's better to be 1 minute early than 1 second too late. I'm DK Will. This is DK Will. Talk about it. And I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day. Here's where I think is safe. The central banks have been upping their gold holdings significantly now for several years. Follow the money means follow the banks, right? Now, keep in mind, I didn't say follow the money means use the banks. Follow the money means follow the banks. I can tell you that I've already begun. Before it was physical gold and silver, but now I think this is so much more convenient because it's spendable with that there debit card that you have there, that MasterCard debit card. But when it comes time to convert your crypto profits into something else, this is where I'm going, folks. I am not sponsored by them. I do not make a dime if you do it. Wish I did, but I don't. But I am telling you this because I believe it to be the right thing to do to protect your funds when you turn them into cash. Get out of cash, the dollar's a trap, and get into gold because it's a gold-backed monetary system.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.